everybody. Welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu, and this is the US stock market recap video for week ending April 17, 2025. Today is actually April 18, Friday, and it's a holiday in the market, so it's a short week. But as you can see here, Dow Jones. We're starting with Dow Jones. It's probably the weakest right now because you can see here it dropped 2.6% this week. On hindsight, it looks like the downtrend continues, and we found resistance right here. If we go to the daily chart, we saw that right here. This is the resistance level, 21 day, which is the pink line, and here's the green line, which is the 10 day, and look like the 10 day is starting to slope down again, and the 21 day is continuing to slope down. So the lows are right here. We have the huge low right there, the week before, and right now we are starting to head back down. So this is not good. Although we are in the middle of the range, like a little bit still in the upper half. So going into next week, obviously Monday, um, and the days after will determine whether this can rebound back and test the short-term moving average, or whether this will continue to go down and test this low. So Dow has a really more negative day than other index on Friday, on Thursday yesterday, mainly because you see this drop here is 1.3%, which is way more than other index. And UNH, which one of the first ones to report it yesterday, took a huge down drop due to missed earnings and also like lower guidance on their forecast. And that's a huge drop, 22%. This is a large cap company, 400 billion, and again, we are in earnings season, so that could definitely increase the risks of any stocks going into earnings. And looking at how this one has, how the market has responded to this earnings, it really showed that we are in an environment that's not very kind to any sort of missed earnings and guidance. So again, I know it's only one stock, but I think like it really cautioned um, going into like the next few weeks of earnings season that many stocks could end up like that. Of course, there will be winners and losers as always, but it just shows how fast a situation can deteriorate. Like this stock was doing really well, as you can see right here. It started to climb back really strong. In fact, I even dabble in this trade right here as it goes above the 200-day line, and then I go out right here by when I tighten my stop loss here, and I got out for the earnings. Again, the chart looks really good even at this level up to the day of earning. It was holding pretty tight even during the pullback, but again, earnings, really, bring it down. The gap down. There's really not much you can do because the gap down was so big. Even if you had a stop, you would be stopping out at much lower numbers here. So that's the risk you're taking going into earnings. And again, I know this is just one stop, but there's caution to be had here, like going forward with earnings. Going into earnings. Weekly chart again, we're seeing very similar chart pattern. Again, we have this huge steep downtrend right now, and again, we saw resistance right there at the downtrend line. If we go into daily chart, we started the week positively bouncing back, and then right here on Monday, we reversed after hitting that 21-day pink line, and then Tuesday we start to go sideways, and then on Wednesday we had a huge drop that day. Like I think it was down uh, over 3%, 3%, yeah, 3.07%. It bounced back from the end of day, the last half hour, but nonetheless, it was still a pretty big down day. And then on Thursday, yesterday, we didn't really do much. Like again, the market has no power to recuperate any of its loss from Wednesday. And again, this show the weakness in the market right now. And and again, earnings season coming up, a lot of stocks are very vulnerable to any sort of missed earnings and guidance. News, I think this was Wednesday. Powell see tariff tension. He said big Trump tariffs are likely to boost inflation and weaken economic growth, creating a challenging scenario by putting the Fed dual mandate of stable price and strong employment in tension. So he sees no rush to act on interest rate. And then President Trump on Thursday responded with a Truth Social post that Powell is always too late and wrong, adding that his termination cannot come fast enough. Powell's term will end in May 2026. So again, we're seeing lots of tension right now between what the Trump administration wants happen versus what the Fed to see and wait. P500 weekly chart, again, very similar chart, finding resistance here at the top in the trend line right there. Going into daily chart, we see the pink line, which is the 21 day, act as resistance, very similar to all the previous index we just saw. And right now we are all these indexes are under the 10-day, which is not good because 10-day short term usually is signaling the momentum. And right now the momentum is kind of going down. Now it did act okay on Friday, but it was just up a little bit. I think earlier in the day it was much higher, but again, by the end of the day, it closed weak, and you can see here, like it was a nice bounce, but then by the end of the day, it closed weak. For IBD signal, we have hit a new low recently, and we have start counting the attempt rally follow through day, and so far, usually you count after day 4, and since we here with yeah, I believe that is day 4, but we didn't come in higher volume, so therefore we didn't have a follow through day so far. And so far that's not a good sign because when you have up days and it didn't come in higher volume, and when we say up days, it has to be above 1.25%. So we haven't had a follow through day yet. So meaning like market participants, especially institutions, are not buying into the market yet, and that's what follow through days usually signal is that there's lots of buying on a much higher volume, and that signals strength, and we haven't seen that yet. So we are really in the second leg down and bounce right now. So we could have a third leg down, meaning this could be the last leg. And not saying that this last leg will fail this low, like it could not fail, but it may come close enough to test it, right? That's the key. So usually the third leg will come close enough to test the previous leg or at least surpass it, right, to a new low. So that's something we are watching right now. And yeah, we have Russell 2000 index. This one has really been decimated. It's very far below the 10-week moving average. And even this week, you can see there's just really not much power at all. Like even though it's an up week, like it actually closes positive, which is a little bit surprising. So that in itself is a good sign. But if we go look at the daily chart, we are just at the 10-day moving average. So we're not even at the 21 day. So I mean, it is at the 21 days, so you could say that is a positive because other index has just fell below their 10 days. So maybe this could recover. We'll see. But again, this has been the very strong correction for this index. Outperform the other index. That's generally a good sign for growth stocks in general because usually the small caps represent more speculation and yeah. EU has fallen back quite sharply, so that's good. Because the week before, it actually rise so significantly, and that's what causes the market to drop significantly as well. And then now we are, coming back to more like around the 4.33 area. The U.S. dollar continue to drop here, as you can see, hit new low on Wednesday. But despite the US dollar dropping, the oil price actually bounced back significantly. It is now above 10-day and is coming towards the 21-day. So this is worth watching to see what's happening. Continue to hit new highs this week. As you can see, huge gap up right here on Wednesday, and Thursday it was able to close near the previous day's high. So that's continued to be technical strength right there. And Bitcoin has been quite stable the last 4 days. Hasn't done much, but it's just slightly above their short-term 10 and 21-day moving average. Market actually, the IBD Innovator 50 stock ETF here actually came out positive for the week. This is good sign. So we are actually bouncing for the second week in a row. So even though it closed at the lower range, but we still have an up week, so that looks really good. So going into the daily chart, you can see we are trying to find support at the short-term 10-day, and so that also a good sign. So if we do bounce from here, the next level would be this 50-day coming down. So next week we like say earnings season is starting like big time, and we are seeing Tesla reporting Tuesday. Google will be also reporting this week. GE Aerospace on Tuesday. Penumbra will also report on Wednesday. Verizon, Boeing, Merck, and PG, IBM. Those are Dow components. We have Lockheed Martin, RTX, Northrop Grumman. We have Chowless, Chubb, Aon, WR Berkeley. We have Philip Morris. We have O'Reilly Automotive, T-Mobile US, and Nickel Eagle Mines. Semiconductor was doing okay until Wednesday. You can see right here, it was kind of starting to climb back up above the 10-day right there. And then on Wednesday, we had this news about Nvidia. And let me bring up the news here. So the Trump administration has effectively barred Nvidia from selling its custom AI processors to customers in China. The move will force the AI chip leader to write off 5.5 billion in inventory and purchase commitments in the fiscal first quarter. And Nvidia disclosed in a regular filing that the U.S. government is now required to get an export license to sell its H20 processor in China and other restricted countries. And then from that, the Wednesday, Nvidia and all other AI chip makers plunging on new export controls that essentially halt all AI sales to China. Nvidia chart, as you can see, the dive on Wednesday, and on Thursday it seems to follow through as well. So this is not a good sign. AMD also going through the similar type of sell-off on Wednesday, and we had a 4% down on the SMH Wenex Semiconductor ETF. The software ETF here, iShares dropped 0.7% for the week, so much less than the semiconductors. Looking at the daily chart, this is holding much closer to 10-day, which is a sign. Looking at Microsoft, it also kind of followed the chip. It fell below the 10-day on Wednesday. Google also fell below the 10-day and followed through on Thursday. Meta is already below the 10-day, so this one is pretty weak. It looks like it's going to test new low pretty soon if it continue this trend. Amazon, where it's similar, it went down. This one also getting weaker. It's getting closer to the lows here. Apple also fell on Thursday. It tried to come back up Monday, but then it reversed. Although Thursday it didn't fall much. It was probably the only green stock in the mega cap. Uh, Tesla trading really tight. You can see it at this, it's been closing at the 10-day for many days, like 4 5 days right here. It's closing at that level, that line where I drew. And then Thursday it came down because again of the general market. And Friday it didn't go down much either. It just stayed at that level. So far this stock has been holding up. And as we mentioned, it's going to have earnings very soon. And Google also will have earnings 2 days after that, so Thursday. We have Netflix, which is report after hours on Thursday, so we won't see the market reaction till Monday. But after hours, we see it up 3.47%. This is one of the growth stocks list on my growth stock list, so you might want to watch the next video that it'll be coming out soon. And Netflix on the growth stock list. But going into the earnings, you can see it post major earnings beat as revenue grow 13% in first quarter. So really good numbers. Revenue of 10.54 billion versus 5.2. Looking at the chart, it's been building a double bottom pace pattern, and the traditional buy point would be right here in the middle of the W-shaped pattern. That's the buy point right there. So most likely, it will surpass this on Monday morning, assuming the 3% holds up. So that will be official buyout point. Earlier trend line shows that it actually broke out here, and that's this day right there. So yeah, so that's that. So at least we might have some good news going into Monday morning. So let's see how the market react. Of course, there could be any other sort of macro news related to tariff also coming out this weekend. So that could also impact the market. Thank you all for watching this video. Have yourself a very nice weekend and happy Easter. Next video, and please like and subscribe.